Welcome one, welcome all to DeFi Crypto and Airdrops, DeFi High, brought to you by DeFi University and David, who just popped in. So we'll go ahead and bring him up on stage. How's it going, brother?
I'm doing really well, Mike. How are you today?
Oh, I'm doing great. I'm doing great. Just kind of watching the markets unfold. Kind of going over the news this morning and seeing that potentially here in 2 days there's going to be an announcement of supposedly a major exchange being investigated for insider trading. Some of the employees insider trading and stuff like that. So definitely some potential for a further downside, depending on what that exchange ends up being.
Insider trading? No way. Insider trading in crypto? I can't believe it, Mike.
I know.
You gotta be lying.
Surprise, surprise.
I know, man. I know. No kidding, dude. I think it's Jane Street. I think that's the name of, or Jane 3 or Jane Street.
You know what? I posted some stuff in our newsletter. This morning about that. Let me actually take a closer look.
You know what's funny, Mike? It could actually mark the bottom for a little while.
It could. I definitely there's daily bottom signals. There's that I'm seeing. That
Oh
make
yeah,
me.
me too.
Okay. It's good to hear that you're seeing the same things.
Yeah, because I'm just looking at software, and software has been very positively correlated with Bitcoin. And I'm looking over here. It's
Bitcoin
bouncing.
has been moving like software as a service, and that's weird.
Yeah, the interesting thing to me, Mike, is that software is bouncing. So Oracle and IGV, and maybe let's take a look at Microsoft. Haven't checked out Microsoft yet today. Microsoft, is still holding its 200-week moving average. So the big software players are not breaking down any further. So that just makes me think that, hey, maybe Bitcoin can bounce.
Yep, and you would be correct. That was in our newsletter this morning. Jane Street accused of insider trading that helped collapse Terraform. So let me actually do a little bit of shilling here of our DeFi Wise newsletter, because we didn't break the news, but I dropped this at 6 a.m. so 3 hours ago. Before most of the different channels went live, and they're still speculating. They're talking about that potentially it would be some of these meme coin platforms and things like that. There's a lot of the perps dexes are taking bets on who it's going to be. But let me share my screen real quick so that anybody that's interested, it's the only thing that I charge for, and it's $19.95 a month, and it's I deliver it Monday through Friday, and I do it by 6 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. So it's basically just kind of ranges that I pick for myself. I just share what I'm doing. We have trading ranges, and we have news and a little bit of kind of a market analysis, both for crypto and and DeFi, and then also TradFi. So my brother Taylor and I are in a team, have been putting this together. So that's kind of why we charge a little bit. Is it does cost us money, so we definitely want to make sure that we're not paying for everything out of pocket. I'm already coming out of pocket for a lot of stuff, the streaming software and all the stuff that we do to do the show. So I had to hedge my losses and start charging for stuff. So
I mean, Mike, what you got to do is make everything Lightning enabled, because that way you can accept zaps, you can accept micropayments. It's
yeah.
Whenever someone finds value in your content, they can just send you some Bitcoin.
Mm-hmm. So I'll go over this news really quick, and then we'll jump into the lesson for today. But Jane Street accused of insider trading that helped collapse Terraform. The court-appointed administrator of Do Kwon's Terraform Labs alleged that Jane Street used non-public information from Terraform insiders to trade. Let's see what else we got here.
You know
Jane Street was what's that?
that's kind of lame, Mike, because like, dude, Terraform, how old is that? 10 years old, something?
Well, it says that Jane Street was behind the 2022. So what was that, like 4 years ago? Crypto
Wow, it
winter.
feels like forever ago.
I know, right? Destroying Terraform by first depegging the token and destroying the ecosystem, then pretending it would rescue Terra, while effectively it was soaking up what little value remained. And then it goes through. There's actually posted a bunch of documents, court documents, in the newsletter that details, a bunch of the allegations and things like that. So that's what's it's based off of. That's what a lot of this potential investigation is based off of, is Do Kwon, basically turning state's evidence, I guess.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened.
He tried to save his bacon. So yeah,
Yeah, he's screwed.
Yeah.
So he flipped, and those guys at Jane Street are pretty, or Jane 3 or whatever it is.
It's Jane Street, but
Jane Street. Yeah.
Basically Do Kwon is hedging.
Yeah, he's hedging.
He's hedging his ass right now.
That's what he's doing. Literally.
He's literally hedging his ass because he doesn't want to go to prison.
I mean, dude, but like, why don't they go after Binance? Like, dude, I don't want to hear about something from Terraform. I want to hear
4 years
about like, yeah, bro, like go after Binance for October 10th, like a couple months ago, man.
That was
Like, come on.
that was my knee jerk. When I heard that there was going to be a major exchange that was going to be investigated, my knee jerk reaction, and some of the stuff that I was saying, in chats this morning on some of the shows, was I figured that most likely it would be Binance because, just look at the data. I mean, I'm not saying that they did anything, but look at the data. Look at what happened on
It's
October 10th.
obvious. Yeah,
Well,
bro.
but look what happened on October 10th. It's like the depegging of USDE only happened on Binance. It seems like anytime there's these black swan events, Binance seems to be, freaking, at the center of it. And it could be because it's the largest exchange, but I find it weird that it's weird. It's very weird.
It is. It's very weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It seems like there's always things that are very localized to Binance. With FTX, same thing.
Yeah.
The FTX collapse, same freaking thing.
Yeah.
I find it very weird.
Yeah, I agree with you, Mike. I think that it's very weird, and I just don't understand why the DOJ doesn't do anything. Like, why? Why nothing? Why no investigation? Why no nothing? Like what?
Hold on. We got something here. It says crypto exchange Binance may have funded Iranian entities, reports say. Internal investigators said at least 2 accounts allegedly saw 1.7 billion move to Iranian-backed groups. So that's from The Guardian.
Okay, well, The Guardian, you can trust them. Awesome.
No. I definitely take that with a grain of salt. Here, I'll share my screen real quick. And this is from Padre in our Discord. We have a news, and it's a free Discord. You can join it. Link in the description below. But just people in our community, post news and things like that they find. But this is what he posted. Let me zoom in a little bit. So they're saying shortly after Donald Trump pardoned, CZ, the Binance founder, last fall, company employees revealed the cryptocurrency exchange may have funded Iranian entities with billions of dollars. The discovery was made by a group of internal Binance investigators who reportedly found that people in Iran had accessed more than 1,500 accounts on the crypto platform. 2 of those accounts allegedly saw 1.7 billion move to Iranian-backed groups that included Yemeni Houthi militants. Those that aren't familiar, that's they're in Yemen, and the Straits of Yamus are basically the straits that Iran is always threatening to close down. It's the Suez Canal. So basically, how a lot of goods get shipped to like Europe and the Mediterranean, and it's a shortcut, so they don't have to go down all the way around Africa, the Horn of Africa. So
Right.
they're always threatening to shut that down, which adds like 30 days or more to shipping times, which greatly increases the cost of goods. So it's kind of both militarily and an economic lever that Iran uses. So anyway, that's I don't want to take
Yeah.
up too much time with this, but yeah.
No, I'd love to talk about it further.
Oh, okay, go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, I just what happened on October 10th, man, like it doesn't surprise me that the Chinese are funding Iranian terrorists. Like Binance is Chinese, bro.
Yeah.
So like
No, absolutely.
I can't get behind anything that Binance does. When you take a look at, just the performance of all of the tokens this past bull cycle that have launched on Binance, it's like 1 out of 100 have like actually done okay. Like
Yeah.
every single one is just like dumped. And
Mhm.
I mean, that's their business model, man. If you also take a look and you just watch Bitcoin trade, every time there's a big dump, it's always orchestrated by Wintermute, and that's
Mhm.
Binance is one of their market makers, man. And the thing that happened on October 10th, like the timelines there
Yeah.
between Trump's tweet and then that whale coming in with $1 billion in cash on Hyperliquid and Binance and
Mhm.
placing those large shorts with like 10x leverage, bro. Like literally seconds after Trump tweeted about tariffs, Chinese tariffs, I think, and then seeing the crash in the
Mhm.
afternoon on the 10th because of USDE pegging. But the reason USDE pegged was because there was a couple of different types of collateral, like yield bearing collateral that Binance allowed on its exchange. And they were like within days of changing their margining rules for that specific piece of collateral.
Yeah.
And the attackers knew that. And they went in and they, destroyed. How many people lost everything on October 10th? You know,
It was a massive amount. I mean,
yeah,
it's been a minute, so I forget the exact dollar amount. But I honestly, I was trying to get Drew over at Blockchain Basement to do a show dedicated to all this stuff that we're talking about. That's very Binance focused. All these black swan events and all these issues. And it just never materialized. He's busier than a one-legged man in an ass-kicking contest over there. But I kind of think maybe me and you need to do one, David.
I'd love to. I'd love to. We can talk news anytime. And by the way, we should talk news, but we got to have Jeff because Jeff, dude, he is the best DJ I've heard in a while, man. So we
Yeah,
got to have some news, but I really want to have the news with Jeff playing some music in the background, man, because that
we.
dude is talented, man.
I keep trying to tell him to do an intro. You remember? I forget what channel it was. I'm wanting to say it was like that. Rand Nooner's channel where he had that guy at the very beginning that was like like I forget how it went. It's like wake up, bitch! It's time to go or something like that. And he was like boom, 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 boom. But anyway, it was. I keep telling Jeff he needs to do an intro for the show.
Dude, yeah, I was listening to his set. It must have been a couple nights ago, man. It was really, really good, dude. But
Yeah,
I'd love to. I'd love
Saturday
to.
Night Fever. Is he
Yeah,
does it on
dude.
Saturday nights?
Yeah, that was really good. And I saw that he was getting tipped. So like on Arena, man,
Yeah.
it's just so cool to see that, the micropayments.
Oh,
Because yeah,
Jeff's in the chat on Arena. He said much love, David. Thank you.
yeah, yeah, dude, that was super cool. Um, so I guess if you want to hop into the DeFi high school stuff, we can definitely do that. I'm ready to rock and roll, man. But
Yeah.
yeah, I looking at markets here, it wouldn't surprise me to see a bounce. I've been waiting for a bounce for a while,
Mm.
and it's probably about time. Whenever you start to think that the stock market is just going to dump and break down, that's when you want to start buying it because like this stock market, man. I'm looking at my other screen here, and this thing is just the most resilient, very resilient. And
Mhm.
it makes sense because the economy is actually pretty strong, man. like with any fear, any hand wringing, I just don't buy. I
Well,
just don't buy it.
the State of the Union tonight's going to be, Joseph's right. The State of the Union tonight's going to be wild.
Yeah, man, it's gonna be good. I can't wait. That's 9 p.m. Eastern, right?
Do you want to take bets on if the State of the Union is strong or not?
Oh, it's very strong.
Have you ever seen any president come out and be like, you know what, State of the Union, I'm concerned. Shit's about to get bad. It's like I've
So,
never.
so how? So, what's the word he's going to use the most times tonight? You know what? There's like
Oh,
always some word, that they like bet on.
yeah,
It's
I'm wanting to see like, amazing, amazing.
amazing,
Yeah, because
amazing.
with Trump, everything's always amazing. We have the most
Yeah.
amazing. Everything's amazing.
Oh, dude. Honestly, he's probably the best president we've ever had, dude.
Well, he's the
I
most
think.
entertaining for sure.
Oh, for sure, without a
Yeah,
doubt. I love what he's doing. I want his DOJ to do more. Um,
he's President Camacho. That's who Donald Trump is. He's President Camacho off Idiocracy. He just
yeah,
needs to
man.
he just needs to get on a Harley trike with a 60 and just start shooting the 60 in the air.
Yeah, dude. So I'm looking over here and I'm thinking to myself, where should we pick back up in the DeFi high school? So, I think that we're right here on lesson 12 in staying safe in crypto. I'm pretty
Mhm.
sure that's where we left off. Um, and then after this, it's going to be first crypto steps. So, what do you think, Mike? You want to pick up on lesson 12, or do you want to hop on over here to first crypto steps?
Let's go to first crypto steps.
Awesome, cool. So, what is an exchange? Well, it's a place where they steal all your money, like Binance. Um, but no, that's not what a crypto exchange is. These are actually very useful because you can go back and forth from fiat, all different types of fiat into digital assets. But many of these exchanges are regulated. Most of them now are regulated, especially if they have some type of United States presence. So it's basically like a money changer. You could think of it that way.
Well,
But let's go.
that's why I was laughing at people when they were trying to say this morning that Coinbase was going to be the one that gets investigated. It's like out of all the centralized exchanges, I think Coinbase is probably the one you need to least worry about with
I
how,
agree.
because I mean they love them or hate them, they're way too integrated into legislation and Washington D.C. I mean, Brian Armstrong is always there. I mean, he's there stroking off legislators constantly, and I
Yeah.
mean that was a good and a bad way.
You mean that in a good way?
Well, it's just, I mean, if you use Coinbase, it's good, but if you're against centralized exchanges, it's bad.
Come here,
So
Elizabeth Warren. Let me.
no, for real, yeah.
Oh my God.
She could probably use a hand job. She's freaking
Oh my
always.
God.
But I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah. So talking about Elizabeth Warren, no, man. But so these exchanges, so centralized versus decentralized. So here's the thing about the decentralized exchanges: they don't need to comply with all these U.S. Treasury system regulatory rules. If you're running a decentralized exchange in the Maldives, you don't necessarily care what laws the United States passes, because all you need is serving. You just need servers. That's it, because you're just going from digital asset to digital asset. But if you've got a centralized exchange and you're going back and forth from digital assets into toxic sludge, fiat, US dollars. By the way, toxic sludge is an anachronism for US treasuries. A lot of people like to refer to treasuries as toxic sludge. Others like to refer to it as return free risk. There are all sorts of little sayings that traders have for treasuries. But if you're going back and forth from fiat to digital, then you need to comply. Otherwise, you're going to have guys with guns showing up at your door to seize your servers. But if you're running a decentralized exchange, then if you're not going into fiat, then you don't necessarily need to comply with all the rules and regulations. So the decentralized exchanges are where I spend my time, because
That's
it's
where I prefer as well. And unfortunately, to an extent, most people need a centralized exchange for onboarding. Or you definitely end up a VPN helps to try to navigate some of the weirdness of a lot of platforms and things like that.
Yep. Yeah, it really does. And there's so this VPN, NIM VPN. I saw the one of the guys from the team here. He so look, it shows my Miami IP. That's kind of cool. But one of the guys from the team over at NIM VPN presented in person last Saturday in Tampa. And dude, this is a very, very cool VPN. So it's cheap, super cheap, worth giving, worth taking a look at, I would say. Um, but back to the exchanges. So yeah, man, reputation is very important. Coinbase, I would say their reputation as the leading US exchange is top notch. I mean, they are the leading US exchange. Say what you will about Coinbase going down whenever things really get volatile, but they're still number one in the United States. You got to think about jurisdiction. Binance is Chinese, so that's a problem for me. You got to think about fees,
and that's why there's two Binance sites. There's the regular Binance site, and there's Binance US.
Yeah, but it's just like
no. I mean, it's the same. But
it's like Mike, that racist meme of like a Chinese guy wearing like the hat that they wear with like the slanted eyes and shit. It's almost like that Chinese dude took off that hat and put on a baseball cap.
Oh,
and is like, hi, my name's Bob.
It's the same company, it's the same everything, but it's their attempt at trying to be U.S. compliant.
Exactly, and
because they want. I mean, of course, they want U.S. customers because U.S. customers have. I mean, we're the biggest market, when it comes to liquidity and money, around the globe.
Yeah, so they want a piece of that market, and isn't like Bitcoin illegal in China? Like,
it depends on the day.
Depends on the day.
Honestly, it really does. I mean, I don't like keep my finger on the pulse of that, but just I happen to hear about it's mining is Bitcoin is illegal. Okay, now it's okay. Bitcoin's crypto's illegal. Okay, now it's okay. All right, well these cryptos are illegal, but okay, then now they're okay. It's just they're constantly back and forth about it. So honestly, I think it's their way of manipulating markets. I'm sure that they're making money on on both ends.
Yeah, man. I just no trust. I don't trust it. So another thing that you've got to focus on here with these exchanges is fees, because if you go on Coinbase, let's say, and you want to buy some Bitcoin, well, the price that you're going to see if you're just a regular Coinbase customer, the price that you're going to see is going to buy is going to be higher than what it is, spot, and that's the spread. So that's the difference between the spot price and their premium. It's referred to as a Coinbase premium.
That's why I like that Coinbase One. Where I pay like $30 a month or something like that, and I have to because I have that Coinbase card where all my purchases I earn free Bitcoin. But it gets rid of a lot of those fees, up to a certain threshold.
Yeah, Mike, we've got to spend some time, you and I, going together, like through EtherFi, because once you learn how to use EtherFi, bro, you'll never go back to Coinbase.
I just like keeping my finger on the pulse of Coinbase because I know that's how the majority of new people new to crypto are going to be onboarded. So for the sake of the channel, I mean that's why I use a lot of these different exchanges and a lot of the different DeFi platforms, like newer DeFi platforms. It's just so I'm educated on how they work so that I can educate the community.
I like the education. That's
all
good.
About the education.
Yeah, bro. So let's get
you're gonna lose money.
Yeah, I know, right? So let's get into some strategery here. We gotta watch through what is a crypto exchange. Let me see if I can open this up.
So you're thinking about getting into crypto. It can feel like you need to learn a whole new language, right? Well, don't worry. It really all starts with one single thing, the crypto exchange. Let's break down exactly what that is. Have you ever been on vacation? Maybe at the airport, and you had to swap your dollars for euros or yen? You walk up to a little booth, hand them your cash, and they hand you back a different currency. If you've done that, guess what? You already get the basic idea. See, a crypto exchange is pretty much that. The concept is exactly the same. It's just a place where you can trade one kind of money for another. The only big difference is it's all digital and happens online. Let's put it side by side. It's that simple. At the airport, you give them US dollars, they give you Japanese yen, and you pay a little fee for the service. On a
Not
crypto
little.
exchange,
Right. Not
Not
little.
little. I've traveled a lot in my military career, and in those exchanges at the airports, they can be like 10% or more that you're paying in fees.
Yeah. And so that's the spread. That's the premium.
Yeah,
And it's really no different than buying gold
gold
if you're
or
just
silver.
exactly right. And you can definitely view gold and silver as monetary metals. You can think of
Yeah.
them as like currency, and in many
Oh,
places they are.
oh, I mean, the U.S. dollar used to be, backed by gold, and until like 1974, was it Nixon?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think it was maybe 71 when the dollar was taken off of that gold standard.
Yeah,
Um,
because if
but
you look at the old cash, it will say silver certificate or gold certificate, and you could exchange it. Like you used to be able to go to a bank, give them a $20 bill, and they give you $20 worth of gold.
yeah, man, I
Yeah,
wish
what
we
a
could still do that.
no, and we wouldn't, be in this debt that we're in right now, with this endless printing. But I digress. Let's continue.
Yeah, no kidding, man. And so these digital exchanges, these so-called crypto exchanges, that's exactly what they do. They allow you to exchange fiat for digital assets like Bitcoin, and you can exchange all different types of fiat for Bitcoin, or ETH, or Sol, or you name it.
you give them US dollars, they give you Bitcoin, and you also pay a little fee. It's the same service, just for digital money. Okay, so we know what an exchange is, but are they all the same? Nope, not even close. You're going to run into two main types, and knowing the difference is your first really important decision. On one side, you've got your centralized exchanges, or CEXs for short. Think of these like regular companies. You've probably heard of names like Coinbase or Kraken. You sign up for an account, they have
They're
customer
they're
service.
they're sexes and not the good kind.
Yeah, people who use that term, like I call it a centralized exchange.
Yeah,
This is even this word. I mean, technically, you would pronounce this sex or
yeah,
CEX,
yeah.
but you'll never catch me pronouncing it like that, dude. I don't know. I kind of look down on like crypto people who pronounce a centralized exchange as a sex.
It's bad sex.
It's bad. It's bad form.
Are built to be really easy for beginners. Then, on the other side, you have decentralized exchanges, or DEXs. These aren't run by a company, they're run by code, automatically. The upside, you have a lot more control. The downside, they're way more complicated, and if you mess up, there's no customer support to call.
So there
Most
isn't really
centralized exchanges have almost no fucking support
right.
either.
That's what I was
And,
about to say too.
yeah, I mean, with my Coinbase One, I actually have somebody I can call, but a lot of the stuff they can't, they claim they can't do anything about. So, and then I've heard of people with Coinbase One who've been locked out of their account for like a year or more, and finally get access back to it.
Hello, Jeff. This is Jeff calling from Coinbase One. Like, bro, you're not going to get an American, like helping you. No way.
Yeah.
So even if you pay for that service, like the type of support that you get from, the only time I've ever gotten support from Coinbase was for clients that I was working for when Coinbase had frozen their money. And it was like, okay, well, this person has hired me to help them. So I'm going to be helping them on the phone over and over and over again. But I've never actually been able to get customer service from Coinbase from a real person ever. So
Yeah.
So, what's the bottom line here if you're just starting out? Well, the advice is pretty clear. Begin with a centralized exchange. It's kind of like the on-ramp to the highway. It has guardrails and makes getting into this whole world a lot safer and easier. All right, so you've decided to start with a centralized exchange. Smart move, but a quick Google search will show you there are dozens, maybe hundreds of them. So how in the world do you tell the good ones from the bad ones? Let's run through a quick safety checklist. First things first, look at their reputation. How long have they been around? Next, and this is a big one, they need to have strong security, like two-factor authentication. Third, you want to see a clear fee structure, no hidden costs. Also, for your own safety, check if they're actually licensed to operate where you live. And last but not least, does it just feel easy to use? The interface should make sense to you.
Okay, let's make this real. Let's put that checklist into practice. Imagine your friend comes to you, all excited to buy their first bit of Bitcoin, and they show you two websites they found.
So on the left, you've got a major, well-known exchange. It's been around for over 10 years, and it asks for an ID to keep things secure.
Asks for an ID to keep things secure. Sure.
On the right, you've got an ad from social media that says, no sign-up needed, and promises 0 fees.
So there are all sorts of scam exchanges out there. You really do have to be careful. You really do.
I mean, when you look at our checklist, situation A is hitting all the right notes, while situation B is just a walking red flag.
Well, and that's why I was talking about, why, I'm somewhat bullish on Coinbase and stuff like that, because most people are lazy. Let's just call it what it is. Most people are lazy. They're not going to do their own research. They don't want to, take the risk of, doing something wrong on a decentralized exchange. Most people, that's why, most people are comfortable with using the traditional banks. They feel like, real or not, they can go deposit their money. It's FDIC insured. It's regulatory compliant. The government regulates them, all that stuff, and they feel safe. It's the illusion of security.
Right.
And agree with it or not, that's where the majority of people are going to go, is centralized exchanges. So
yeah. You know what's so funny to me about that, Mike? Those things that you just mentioned, for me, those are red flags.
Oh, no. And I'm right there with you, but I'm a realist as well. I do realize the power of going fully decentralized, but I understand that the majority, like half of our viewers just dropped. I don't care. I'm going to call it how it is. Most people are lazy. They are going to go the easy route. Most people take the path of least resistance, and that's what centralized exchanges are.
Yeah, they definitely are. I prefer to, get into Bitcoin and then use that Bitcoin to, if I want to, swap into some other token on a decentralized exchange. That's really the way to go, I think, because once you get into Bitcoin, then you're sovereign and not beholden to some government or set of regulations or jurisdiction or person or whatever. You actually own your assets when you own Bitcoin.
And I want to warn people that this isn't a channel where we're gonna make your feel goods feel better. We're gonna tell the truth here. We're gonna give you facts, logic. We're gonna be honest here. I don't care. I mean, I want people, the people that are watching, I want them to be well informed. I don't want them to have a warm fuzzy. If this is not that channel. We're not here to get eyeballs. We're not monetized. We're here to educate people that are intelligent, open-minded to new data, new information, and they want the truth. Real intelligent people want the truth, not what makes them feel good. Feel good isn't going to make you money. Knowledge, facts are going to make you money. So
especially in this bear market, Mike. I'm looking over here at my other screen, and dude, I gotta say, like, I wouldn't be surprised to see Bitcoin below its 200-week moving average.
Yeah.
So, like, if you are just getting started in crypto and you've never even used a centralized exchange before, well, then you're probably best off following Mike's advice and just going with Coinbase if you're a U.S. resident, or going with some other large centralized exchange if you're an international citizen somewhere else. But if you're really serious about making some money during this next bull run, then you need to move on from the centralized exchanges and get into the decentralized exchanges. And you can't do that until you educate yourself a little bit. And it doesn't take much, it's just a little bit of education goes a long way.
Well, and that's why me and David collaborated on this, is we want to make sure that this gets the widest exposure possible. We're on 4 different X accounts right now, 2 YouTube channels, Kick. We're trying to get this out there because this is what I ran into. whenever I was trying to find out, learn about DeFi, there was no place that had good quality free content. And DeFi University, link in the description below, you can go to it. This that we're walking through this, every day that we're doing this, every day, 9 a.m. Pacific, we're walking you through step by step the course that David built, the free high quality course that has, tests and quizzes, checks on learning, all of that. So everything here is free. You have no excuse to not educate yourself on this. But please continue.
Yeah, you got to leer more.
Yeah, it's all about leering. If you don't,
it's all about the leering.
Yeah.
Second option was basically a parade of red flags. So let's zoom in on those for a second, because knowing what to run away from is just as important as knowing what to look for. Here are the things that should make you slam on the brakes. A promise of zero fees? Come on, nothing is ever truly free.
Yeah, so all those zero fee exchanges, they've actually just baked the fees in to one of their products in some other way. So it's never zero fees.
It probably means
State of the Union's going on right now.
Is it really?
Yeah. It says State of the Union, there's 35,000 people watching.
Well, is that real? I thought it was at 9.
I thought so too, but I mean, this is supposedly. Let me check and make sure this is the official. Yeah, I mean, it says it's the official White House YouTube with 3 million subscribers.
Maybe I don't know. Sounds muy interesante.
Oh well, I mean, keep going. I thought that was weird. I thought it was tonight.
Yeah, it's tonight because it's dude, it's super early on the West Coast. There's no way that
yeah, this is weird. It says join us for the State of the Union at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Yeah, so they're just like getting everyone ready, I guess.
Okay, all right. Sorry, keep going.
Hidden, or worse, it's a scam. No sign up or no ID needed? That might sound convenient, but what it really means is zero security. And if you found it through a random social media ad and it sounds way too good to be true, you know the saying. It is. Okay, we're almost there. You know how to pick an exchange, and you know the red flags to avoid. So to wrap things up, let's just quickly bust 3 super common and frankly dangerous myths about what an exchange isn't. First off, and this is a huge one, an exchange is not a bank. This is so important. The money in your normal bank account is usually insured by the government. The crypto you have sitting on an exchange? Nope, it's not.
Yeah, that's not always the case. So yeah. Uphold, they actually are FDIC insured, where per account, so you can have multiple accounts, but each account is insured up to $250,000. I believe they're the only one that I know of. Well, they're the only one I know of.
Yeah, so I mean, I think that's attractive to a lot of people.
Yes.
Yeah, it really is. But for me, it's not like at all.
No. I'm just saying if your risk tolerance is very low and your bandwidth is very low and you don't want to learn about DeFi, in depth, and you don't want to take the chance of making a mistake of sending something to the wrong address or, something like that. My brother, Jason, he called me, was it yesterday, day before? He's almost to 1 Bitcoin now. And he saw some TikTok or something, not your keys, not your crypto. And he called me freaking out. My Bitcoin's on an exchange and it's not my keys and it's not my crypto. And can you, what cold wallet should I use? He wasn't freaking out like that, but I'm exaggerating. But he's like, hey, I heard about this cold storage thing, and I was like, before you do anything, I was like, go get this one. But before you do anything, call me. Because if you do it wrong, you can lose all of your crypto. Yeah. So he's in the process of doing that right now. But a lot of people don't want to take that risk. A lot of people, like I said, they take the path of least resistance. They're going to have it on an exchange. They just want what they feel is a safe place on an exchange, like they would a bank.
Yeah, it's ease of use. It's also lack of understanding because hey, you've got to educate yourself. So that means you got to
know that there's decentralized exchanges.
Yeah, and I think most people just don't know that if you don't own your keys, you don't actually own your coins at all.
Well, my brother's a perfect example of that. I mean, I've been talking to him about crypto for years, and I've mentioned, multiple times, about this, and just whatever he saw, made it click in his head. Now that he's investing in crypto, it made it click in his head. He was like, "Oh shit!" And so I explained to him, like, "Yeah, it's an IOU, dude. If that, if they go bankrupt, they can, make their investors whole, using your liquidity. And if there's anything left, you might get, a little bit of it back. And if they might do it at the current valuation that, might not be the same valuation that it is now."
Oh my God, like all those FTX, investors got
Celsius,
screwed.
yeah,
Oh,
Celsius too.
Celsius. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, man. Imagine, a lot of those guys who were holding Sol, guys and gals, people
yeah,
with like millions of accounts, they were holding Sol. They basically got what, like $25 for their
yeah,
Sol? Like
yeah.
when Sol was trading for like $200 or something,
Oh,
100
Mount
something.
Gox. Remember Mount Gox?
They're not getting cashed out. So that's the Mt. Gox people are getting a pretty solid deal compared to
Oh
everyone
yeah,
else.
compared to, but like, didn't they get the valuation that they were getting paid back wasn't at the, because it was pretty close to all time highs. They were getting the Bitcoin that they were getting paid back was that, like, the old valuation, not the current, at the time current valuation.
I don't see how that could be possible because weren't they just getting like refunded spot Bitcoin?
But they were getting the dollar amount at the current valuation was my.
So that's FTX. Yeah, that was FTX, but not Mt. Gox.
Oh,
Mount Gox.
okay,
Yeah,
maybe I'm confusing the
yeah.
two.
So that was FTX, and
Okay,
that's why FTX investors got so screwed. But
yeah.
Mt. Gox, dude, that was a Magic the Gathering server. Like, oh man,
If that company goes under,
Early
yeah.
on. No,
Uh,
yeah.
Dude, I've seen videos of guys waiting at Walmart for the Pokemon card section to be restocked so that they can get first pick.
It's
Like,
insane.
dude, yeah, yeah. Like I'm talking about grown ass men. Like,
That to me, that kind of thing is like meme coins, or like, NFTs, like the cyberpunks, and all those weird little cartoon NFTs. That's what that reminds me of, is like that's the modern version of Pokemon cards, and Magic
yeah,
the Gathering and all that.
yeah, man. Or like, did you see Jake Paul or Logan Paul? I don't remember which
Dude,
one,
it was
but
like, one of 10 or something like that. And he sold it for like $16 million.
bro, like how retarded do you have to be to buy a Pokemon card for $16 million? Like,
I mean, the same kind of retarded that you'd buy a cartoon JPEG.
oh my God. Yeah, I know. You remember Gary V was talking about my NFTs. It's the future with the NFTs and I got millions of dollars of NFTs. All that stuff. If he didn't sell it, it's all gone to zero.
Yeah.
So yeah,
No,
man, you
no,
got to
like people bought those things for millions of dollars, and some of them are worth a couple $100 now.
if that, if
And
that.
and
Yeah.
as even as new as I was to crypto at the time, I mean, because that was the end of the last, well, not the last bull run, but last bull run where I got in when Shiba Inu took off, and I was brand new to crypto, and I looked at that and was like, holy shit. And like the metaverse property that people were paying millions of dollars for, I'm like, that is going to end badly.
Bro, stupid as fuck.
Yeah.
And like, people were paying hundreds of thousands of dollars for a JPEG of a rock. Like
Yeah.
the NFT craze, man. Like,
Yeah.
people were literally paying like 100 ETH for a picture of a rock.
That
It's like,
that
oh,
was that was a massive, massive flare that we were at, at max euphoria.
but that's actually why I'm super bullish this bear cycle because we didn't get the blow off top parabola out of Bitcoin this bull cycle.
We
So
never got that euphoria.
never got it. Never got it. There was the meme coin hype on Solana. Basically, Solana became a meme coin casino for this past bull cycle.
Yep.
But, Ethereum had some AI coins and projects in like February of 2024 that did really, really well for a brief
The
period of
ISO
time.
tokens, kind of the Dino tokens had a pump. XRP, XLM, HBAR, all of those. They had a decent pump, like a 5x, 6x, something like that.
Yeah, but all those projects don't really do anything real yet.
No,
So
but that
they
was
had pumps for
nothing.
sure.
Yeah, but that was
Yeah.
nothing compared to the kind of bull market that had been seen in the past. That's why I didn't get out. I'll be honest. I didn't. I hadn't started taking profits because I was looking for that, some kind of, signal of euphoria where people are doing stupid shit like buying
Mhm.
cartoon NFTs and
And we never
metaverse
got it.
property, and we never got it. That's when I was
Yeah.
going to start like heavily DCAing out. Was when I started seeing stuff like that, and I just never saw it.
Yeah. And now I'm just thinking to myself, okay, well, where could Bitcoin go this next bull cycle? I'm thinking, okay, well, maybe I can pick up some BTC at the 200-week moving average. Maybe I can buy some more at 50K.
Out of
Maybe
curiosity, where's that at?
the 200-week is at 58,
Okay,
58K. Yep.
okay,
So I'm just thinking to myself, like, all right, well, I'm looking over my chart here and I'm thinking, well, if Bitcoin dips down to its 200-week, I'll start buying there. And then a little bit below at 50K, I'll buy more there. And then if it gets all the way down to like the bear market low, could be as low as 32K. But I mean, that would be like if the stock market corrects over the next couple of months.
that
I think that's
that's
the
where
only
my
way.
brother Taylor seems to think that it's going is the 30s.
Yeah, I mean, look, if it gets down into the 30s, that would be great, man. Well, I mean, wouldn't be great for anyone who's holding it now, but it'd be great for anyone who wants to
Once
be
they
able to
get in,
pick it up.
yeah,
Yeah, and make a 10x type return because hey, Bitcoin, if you picked it up in early 2023, uh, you went from 16K to 126K, and all you had to do was nothing. Like
yeah,
that's the plan. The
yeah.
plan is buy Bitcoin this year and then do nothing.
Well, I
That's
mean,
the
during
plan.
the last bear market, I mean, Bitcoin got down around $16,000. So if you were DCAing through the last bear market, I mean, you're still, very much up. I mean, say that your average, is like 20K. You're still up, like a 3x. Even though Bitcoin is, gone to shit and the markets have gone to shit, you're still, in the green.
Yeah, I mean, Bitcoin's just doing what Bitcoin does, and as I started to build on Bitcoin, Lightning, and Nostr, dude, I'm never going back. I'm never going back to EVM chains or Solana or anything else ever again. So I'm just thinking to myself, I need sats. Like that's it. I just
Well,
need Satoshi.
speaking of which, we were talking in my Discord this morning that we need to do more shows where you send me sats.
Yeah. Oh, you like those shows?
Those shows are really informative.
So here, Mike, this is how you can send me some sats, bro. Let
All
me
right,
let
all
me
right.
let me show you. This is how you can send me some sats. So
I'll send you back the sats you sent me.
so check this out, bro. I put together a little AI tool. It's anonymous AI. So anonymous, and you pay with satoshis. So let's say, and it only works for text right now. So uh, describe satoshis to me. Okay, so that's pretty cool. Oh, look at that! My wallet pops up. It wants some money. So it's saying,
It's
oh,
like
look at
pay me.
that.
You want
Yeah.
information?
So
Pay me.
exactly. So I just zapped one sat to myself so that I could get a description of what satoshis are. And this is pretty cool. Now I can ask it something else. Now generate. Let's see if this works. I don't think it will because I don't have the image API set up. Now generate an image of Satoshi. And these images, they should cost like 2 sats. Okay. Yeah, it's for AI. It's not going to give me that. But yeah, man, this little tool here will allow me to earn sats It's basically a Gemini wrapper. That's what this is.
Yeah.
It's a
That's what I
wrapper.
figured. I figured it was just a UI with a back end of, like an AI.
Yeah, and the cool thing about this is I get Sats in my. You see this, the DVM job. So I get some satoshis in my strike, which is pretty cool. If you want to send me 2 Sats at a time. Yeah, man, 2 Sats at a time. That's like a fraction of a penny.
Put Satoshi in a bikini.
That's right.
Your money could vanish with it. Myth number 2. An exchange is your crypto wallet. Not exactly. Sure, they hold your crypto for you, but they also hold the keys. It's kind of like leaving your house key at the front desk of a hotel. It's convenient, yeah, but you're not the only one with access. Moving your crypto to your own personal wallet is like having that key in your pocket. You are in control.
So it's the same. It's the same analogy with the banks. So even though exchanges like technically aren't banks, I don't know, man. They offer all the same products that banks offer. Um, Coinbase offers a credit card product, a debit card product. You earn yield on your cash sitting in Coinbase.
Mhm.
So it's pretty darn similar to a bank. You can direct deposit into Coinbase. You can send wires from Coinbase. I think you can probably send ACH transfers too, most likely. So that's basically all the products a bank offers. For the most part, like the basic consumer facing retail stuff. Like you can't buy a house using Coinbase. They're not going to give you a mortgage. But you also can't buy a car using like a Coinbase loan, not yet anyway. But yeah, so the exchanges themselves, they hold your keys. So if they hold your keys, they own your crypto. You don't actually control it. So the important thing here is just get your crypto off exchanges. That's the most important thing. Self custody where appropriate. If you feel like you're not going to be able to manage your own keys, well, that's totally fine. Then you can keep it on an exchange. Just make sure that it's a trustworthy exchange. But for the most part, it's better to self custody.
And finally, the last myth we've got to bust. The idea that all exchanges are pretty much the same. Oh, no way. The difference in security and customer service and just how reliable they are, it can be night and day. That's why you just have to do your own homework using that checklist we talked about. It's non-negotiable. So at the end of the day, just think of an exchange as your gateway, your front door into this new digital world. It's the essential first step. But as you get comfortable, the real question you have to ask yourself is, are you just here to visit, or are you planning on moving in and taking full control?
Yeah, man, take full control. And when it comes to choosing an exchange, we were going through these things before, but ease of use, jurisdiction, reputation, low fees, the available coins that you can swap into, robust security features, and just the fact that it's in your jurisdiction would likely mean that it will accept whatever fiat you have there. So these things are
Be the
important.
dom of your crypto. Be in full control of your crypto.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So let's see here. I don't want to go through getting verified KYC. So why don't we talk instead about your first purchase, your first crypto purchase? We've got a couple of minutes left here. So let's check this out. Your first crypto purchase.
All right. Today, we are going to demystify one of the biggest questions out there for anyone who's even a little bit crypto curious. How in the world do you actually make
What?
Crypto curious.
Crypto curious.
That
Dude.
like sounded like really close to being like bi curious or something like crypto curious.
Oh my God, dude. Yep.
very first crypto purchase? This is that first big step, and we're going to break it down so it feels easy. I get it. You open up a crypto exchange for the first time, and it can look super intimidating, right? It's just this wall of numbers and charts and jargon. But I promise you, the basic idea behind it all is something you have almost definitely done before. And this is the key. This is the whole secret. If you have ever swapped your dollars for euros or yen before a vacation, you're already familiar with the process. At the end of the day, all you're doing is exchanging one type of money for another. So let's really dig into this comparison.
Because once you see it this way, I swear a lot of that scary complexity just kind of melts away. Just look at this side by side. It's almost identical. For that trip to Japan, you check the exchange rate, look at the fees, decide how much you need, pay your dollars, and get your yen. For Bitcoin, you check the price, look at the fees, decide how much to buy, pay with your money, and you get your crypto. See? It's the same fundamental playbook, just one is for a physical wallet and one is for a digital one. Okay, so you get the concept. Awesome. Now let's get down to the nitty-gritty. We're going to walk through the actual clicks and buttons you'll see on a typical exchange, taking you all the way from your bank account to seeing that shiny new crypto balance.
It really boils down to just 7 simple steps. First, you got to link up a payment method. Then you find that big, friendly buy button. Choose which crypto you want, like Bitcoin or Ethereum. Type in how much you want to spend. Then, and this is important, you review the fees and the final total. You click confirm and boom, you're done. You can see your new crypto in your account. That's really it.
Now that very first step, adding a payment method, brings up your first big decision. It's all about a trade-off. Using a bank transfer is almost always going to be your cheapest option, but it's slow. It can take a few days. On the other hand, using a debit or credit card is instant, but you're going to pay a bit more in fees for that speed. So you're basically choosing, do I want to save a little money or do I want to save some time?
Okay, so just think about how antiquated this entire process is. Like, once you start using digital assets natively, the whole idea of waiting even a day for a bank transfer
Oh,
is just
waiting more than 10 minutes.
like it's just anathema. Like, why would you ever wait a day? Like, that's crazy. And a debit card, why would you pay fees for any of these products? Like, to on ramp from fiat into crypto. Maybe you might be stuck paying a fee, but once you have digital assets, then the whole idea of moderate fees or high fees or waiting days is just like, what are you talking about? Like, that's not the way that digital assets work.
No.
So this old system, basically what I think is that this old system is being upgraded onto like EVM chains.
Well, that's what we've talked about in the past. Is that the banks built in basically friction to as products to where they could charge fees. So like if you want to
Yeah.
speed things up, it costs you extra. If they can slow things down because the longer they can hold your money, the more they can use it to earn. So they
Right.
built in. We've talked about that in previous episodes. Previous lessons where they do it on purpose, and that is why a lot of us are so bullish. Even in these down markets on DeFi, is we see
100%.
what this technology is going to do for us, not necessarily for the institutions. And that's why it's so critically important that you pay attention to the legislation that's going on in Washington D.C. and around the world, because banks and institutions are fighting tooth and nail to try to hold on to their bottom line, because this technology potentially could eliminate a lot of their profits that at our expense, that they've been making at our expense. So
Yeah, no, I agree with you, Mike. And here's the thing: these banks are being upgraded to EVM chains. Their entire business model has been friction and fees, and so as they upgrade, things are going to get faster. But they're probably going to try to bake in fees in any way that they can. And
absolutely.
but Bitcoin, man, Bitcoin is a whole different deal. Bitcoin and Lightning and Nostr, that's value for value. That's what that is. It's a whole different thing. It's sovereign value for value. And that's not what this is at all.
And speaking of choices, the next thing you're going to run into is how you want to buy. This isn't just about what coin you're buying, but the actual type of order you place. And this choice directly affects how much you pay in fees. You'll usually see 2 main options. A market order is the simple one. It's you saying, hey, just buy it for me right now at whatever the current market price is. A limit order is you being more of a strategist. You're saying, I only want to buy if the price hits this specific number that I set. So let's make this real. Imagine you're spending $50. Situation A is the simple buy button. It uses a market order. It's instant, one click, and you're done. But look at that fee, $1.25. Now, situation B, the advanced trade option. This lets you place a limit order. You might have to wait a bit for the price to hit your target, but holy cow, look at that fee, just 25 cents. That's a $1 difference on a $50 buy. Now, a buck might not sound like a life-changing.
That's a huge spread. In percentage terms, that's a huge amount.
Oh, because
Amount of money.
imagine if it scaled to the amount of money that you're that you're buying. Like if it
Yeah.
if it's a percentage of the purchase.
Yeah, no kidding, man. I mean, those fees can really, really add up. So I think it's probably a better deal to just on-ramp directly into stables rather than,
Coinbase, again, love them or hate them, but it's free to on-ramp fiat into USDC.
yeah, I mean, and they'll also pay you some yield. I think it's like between 3 and 6%, something like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, no, it varies, but it usually hovers around the 4 to 5% range, to where, basically using it as a high interest savings account.
Yeah, man. And the thing about Coinbase is that they will pay you some yield, but the really, really cool stuff is on EtherFi, where once you become a little bit more comfortable with a centralized exchange and you start getting ready to use a decentralized exchange, well, then I think it's important that you learn how to use a neobank. And there's many of them, but my favorite neobank is EtherFi. And dude, like the products there, amazing, amazing.
So really quick before we close out, I want to show everybody where to find us. So if you want to find DeFi crypto and airdrops, this is our account on YouTube. If you get the owl, you're in the right place at DeFi crypto and airdrops. If you want to find David under our brother channels, you got DeFi University right here if you want to subscribe to him. And also, if you just go to more, you can see all the links. Here's David's DeFi University. Here's Metrics Finance. Here's our Discord. All of this is free. There's a free version of Metrics Finance. David's DeFi University is free, and our Discord's free. So again, we give a lot of value for free here.
That's right.
Anyway, just wanted to go ahead and do that. But David, if you could hang out for a second, I want to talk to you about an idea after the show if you have time.
100%.
Awesome. All right, Boosted. We'll talk about EtherFi. Trust me, David's very bullish on EtherFi, so we'll talk about that.
But yeah, EtherFi is a great product.
So join us tonight, 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Me and Jeff will be doing Crypto and Chill. We're going to be talking about some of the news and kind of in general crypto stuff tonight. So join us with a drink, or smoke, whatever it is you do. And we'll see you then. Until next time, Veteran Crypto out.
Peace.